Hello, Austin the Brimstone here, collecting all things furry and fantasy. Back with another one of these 5 blank you will like. Yep, we're already doing another one of these. What can I say? It's called a hustle, sweetheart.
It's called a hustle, sweetheart.
It's Brimstone. Yeah, right, Brimstone.
So after the Shrek video, the next logical step on what fun toys I wanted to talk about was obviously the next favorite movie down, Zootopia, released by Disney almost a decade ago, which makes me feel very old. I love Zootopia, and I love Nick and Judy, and I think there's something about these characters that just makes them so fun to collect in so many different scales, form factors, and styles. Now, when Zootopia was originally released, they made a ton of stuff, but anything Nick and Judy was notoriously hard to find. I think they kind of overproduced the amount of merchandise of the other characters, like the sloths and the mayor's assistant, and characters that really didn't resonate with people. So I'm just gonna say that all 5 of today's entries, and I guess you could technically say almost 10 entries, because most of these entries are Nick and a Judy, or all Nick and Judy. So moving right along, I want to talk about these blind box stylized Nick and Judy figures that came out by Funko all the way back during the film's original release. Now, I have unboxed and reviewed these before. I think it was the Christmas special I got these two. And I've actually owned these toys at various different points in time. I bought some of these blind boxes back when the movie first came out in 2016, and I was kind of disappointed by them, so I sold them, and years later I rebought them. And although I was pretty critical at the time on these, I think they've kind of grown on me. Maybe it's just because these were my first Zootopia toys I bought. I had some sort of expectation that they would be amazing. They're not, and for $13 a piece, yeah, these were $13 when they came out, they are really overpriced. But alongside some of the more realistic interpretations of Nick and Judy, I think they're cute in their own way. They have a charming, almost Rankin Bass-like quality to them. They kind of look like those stop-motion puppets you see in the Christmas and Easter specials back in the 60s. Honestly, they just have kind of a 60s retro design. Plus, I just like seeing Nick and Judy reduced down to their most basic features. At the end of the day, what do you reduce Nick down to? The droopy eyes, the smirk, those green colors. Judy's kind of happy and peppy. She got the big ears, the big hips. I think they're really cute, stylized versions of the characters. Plus, the price on these has actually gone way down. You can buy Nick and Judy now on their own for like $20 as a set. You don't have to go buying $13 blind boxes, getting an endless amount of male Lionheart, right? And that was another thing that plagued this line. Like I said, the other characters in this movie, I don't think they resonated as well as Nick and Judy. So when people kept getting, me especially, getting figures of these other characters, we didn't want them. That was the case for all the merchandise. You never saw the Nick and Judy action figures on the shelf. They just disappeared. And you saw pegs and pegs of male Lionheart. Moving right along, we have what I feel are the best Nick and Judy action figures available in the United States. The Disney Infinity figures that were part of this interactive video game. Who remembers Disney Infinity? It was supposed to be the ultimate Disney game. The idea was that you would buy this expensive video game, and then you would buy these expansion packs for your game in the form of plastic figures. It didn't work out, the game bombed, and after only a couple years, they kind of ended that and closed that and didn't make any more. But it was all worth it to get these amazing figures of Nick and Judy. Let's look at Nick Wilde first. This is the best sculpt of Nick Wilde, I think, available. Let me get it in focus there. On a mass market US figure. This sculpt is honestly amazing. He is smug and confident. The head sculpt, the way they reduced his head down to this simple geometry. It's not as much detail as the model in the film, but it still effortlessly captures the character. He's sculpted kind of walking with his hands in his pockets. He's got a slouch like Nick has. And this is the only Nick figure, again, in the USA, and I'm going to add on that in a second, that has the Hawaiian print pattern on his shirt. All the other Nick figures just used a generic green color, kind of like what I'm wearing right now when I'm modeling my costume. Hey, I don't have the Hawaiian shirt, what can I say? But yeah, this is the Disney Infinity Nick, and this is the Disney Infinity Judy. Another amazing, amazing sculpt. I love how Judy is sculpted almost like a curve, like those motion here. Look at the way her legs go to her ears that are bent. There's so much movement in this still figure. It is incredible. I love her optimistic smile, the detail on her uniform. The only fun quibble with this figure is what she's holding. That is the tranquilizer gun seen in the first trailer of the movie. This was taken out of the film as they felt it was too dark for Judy to be an armed police officer. And pretty far along, she had a gun. So you'll see in a lot of Zootopia merchandise, she will have this weapon, but it's not used in the final film. You just don't see it. Now, I said these are the best figures in the USA of Nick and Judy. And they are. They really are. But foreign markets, if you live in Europe or Japan, you got much, much better Zootopia figures. Zootopia made a lot of money overseas. It was an international success story. I know that the European markets got the really cool Bullyland Zootopia figures. I would love to have those one day. They're just like these. They're just really nicely sculpted PVCs. But whereas these ones take on a very kind of Y2K geometric style to them, the Bullyland figures are more direct interpretations of the Zootopia models. So that makes for a nice contrast. Not contract, contrast. And finally, Japan, where Zootopia was a huge roller coaster success, got by far the best figures. Just look at the Japanese Nick and Judy figures. They are amazing. I believe Bandai and Good Smile Company made these, and they're grails. I gotta have them someday. They look amazing. But when it comes to cheap American goods, or Canadian, if you were in Canada, you could have got these too, the Disney Infinity Nick and Judy look amazing on a shelf. And they hold up all these years later. So even if the video game was a total bomb, it was worth it to get these ultimate Nick and Judy action figures. Okay, up next, we have a new Nick and Judy set. I've been showing a lot of old stuff from when the movie first came out, but this is something you can buy right now. Now you're thinking, what is this? This is bizarre. Why are they sculpted like that? Well, these are Disney Park Pals, and they sell them at Disneyland. So what you do in Disney World is you take like Nick here, and he's in this little pose, holding something, and you clip, see if I can get this. You're supposed to clip him on your shirt. Okay, like that, and now you've got a Nick pal that you can walk around the park with. Kind of a fun novelty. I like it. I think it's a great idea, especially people who do like the Disney bounding, where they dress casually as a Disney character but don't go in costume. This should be like a fun way of like telling people what you're dressing up as. Plus, I really love the sculpting on these guys. So I said that the Disney Infinity Nick was the only Nick released with the movie that's got his Hawaiian shirt. Well, this one, you know, almost a decade later, does have the Hawaiian shirt. And honestly, I think it's a little criminal, pun intended, on how good these figures are for being little cheapy clip-on things you put on at the park. They could have gone with a very simplistic, boring design on these, but damn, these sculpts have personality. This may be the best Nick Wilde sculpt, like, I've seen on a figure. It's amazing. Just for something that's he's made of rubber, he's squishy, he just clips on. Like, you're supposed to just clip that on, but look how well this figure displays. It is awesome. I didn't even know these were out. I just saw them when I went to downtown Disney, and they blew me away. They just stuck out to me. Judy is also really cute. I actually really like her head sculpt. I know it's not exactly on model, it's a little strange looking, but I think it gives her more character. Plus her uniform is also nicely detailed. So yeah, this Nick and Judy figure, these are great. I was pleasantly surprised by how nice these were. The pricing was also really good on these. I think I paid $12 each. Yeah, these are cheaper than the Funko figures were years ago with inflation adjusted. So, you know, adjusting for inflation, this Judy figure would now retail for like $17. And this is like a $12 figure. And I was just surprised. You know, when I go to downtown Disney, I expect to pay a fortune for everything. It's just ridiculously expensive. I don't even go to the parks anymore. I can't afford the Disney parks. So, I'm lucky enough to live by downtown Disney, where I like to pop in there and see if there's any new Zootopia stuff. And there was new Zootopia figures I didn't have. And they're awesome. Given the choice of stylization, I prefer something much closer to this than this. I just don't like it when the characters are reduced down to almost this emoji-like form. She kind of looks like an emoji. Whereas this one and this one here, again, not fully accurate to the character in the movie, but they're stylized to a point where they still really look like the on-screen character. They just took some creative liberties that apply well to toy design. Because Judy is very detailed, she has a lot of fur, and that's tough to do on a figure, you know? You want a more solid, streamlined sculpt. And I think these Park Pal figures do a wonderful job. Plus, I just like having a little Nick and Judy wherever I go. Just clip them along for company. We're gonna put Nick, Judy, there we go. There's my friends, my only friends, Nick and Judy. Coffee break. I'm drinking out of my Nick and Judy mug. Can you tell I like Zootopia a lot? Tastes like, I don't want to say like fried animal, that'd be terrible. But you know, what do they eat in Zootopia? You have to wonder. Is everything plant-based? Did the Beyond Meat Market monopolize the Zootopia food chain? Because like, what's Nick supposed to do when he's hungry? Fox gotta eat. Before we get to our final item, and what I consider the definitive Nick and Judy, I want to go back to those foreign market items. There are so many cool Zootopia items only available in specifically Asian countries: Shanghai Disneyland, Hong Kong Disneyland, and Tokyo Disneyland. The 3 Asian Disney parks seem to be the trifecta of amazing Zootopia stuff. Keep in mind, this is a year before the Zootopia Land opens in Shanghai Disneyland, and I have a feeling that is going to have some truly amazing merch. But some of the stuff I'm showing you on screen are just the most amazing Zootopia items that I would love to have put together a whole shelf of, but is far beyond my reach. These items are expensive, and also the shipping on them can be quite killer. However, I do have one exclusive item to Tokyo Disney Sea. I got one, and that is the Nick Wilde handbag. Yeah, look how great this is. It's Nick's head as a bag. This was available at Disney Tokyo Sea, one of their many Nick Wilde items, and you just kind of wear it like so. No, I lost Judy. Judy's dead. She's dead to me. And I have a giant Nick head, and it is just so great. I love that the strap is the Hawaiian print of his short. That attention to detail is just awesome. And as a bag, it's quite functional. You can hold your ID here. It's got spot for like money. So if a kid was going to Disney Tokyo Sea, this kid could put his or her annual pass here and keep some little bit of cash, a little bit of money. So it's very functional and useful. It's even got a zip tie. So very, very good for the kids. And then for, an adult man like myself who collects Fox people, cartoons, it's great. I just love it. It's so cheesy and corny. You know what makes this great is It's not shy to be what it wants to be. This knows it is a dumb horse of Nick's head. And as a man, I proudly wear this moss with no shame. I will carry this, I don't care. I may carry it to San Diego Comic-Con next month when I go as Nick. Could I have asked for like a better, accessory for my Nick costume? It's perfect. The funny thing is that it isn't Judy. You'd think like a character-themed horse would be aimed more towards the girls market, and it'd be a big Judy head. I mean, maybe there is a Judy one, I don't know. But I think it's really funny that it's Nick. And it's good, the head's good. The texture is fuzzy and nice. It looks like him. They got the colors down, and I love that strap. So even though my costume does not have the Hawaiian print, it kind of does in a strange way through this strap and my little Nicky right here. See, now I'm set. Put on the glasses. Hold on a second now. Now I'm set. Let's go catch some baddies, Judy. It's called a hustle, sweetheart. So the final Zootopia item I call They Got It Right the First Time. Now remember, this is no order, there's no list. I'm not saying that this is statistically better than this, just that both are good and you should own them. But there's no denying that the best version of Nick and Judy they ever made is the Disney Store Nick and Judy. They've been sitting here the whole time, did you notice them? These were the first commercially available toys for Zootopia, and damn did they get it right on the first time. I love these plush. I bought them when the movie first came out at the Disney Store, and man, it just makes you really miss the Disney Store because they knew how to make plush. They made plush of anything and everything. Look at this Judy. She is fantastic. They got the head down pat. I love how the gray fur has a little bit of a pink texture to it, which matches her eyes and the pink on her ears. So it really just makes the character blend. Not only that, but I honestly think adding a little bit of the pink almost makes the plush feel like it's under bright lighting, like it's lit, like a 3D model would be. It's not the stark, monotone gray you see on the Funko figures. It's actually got a lot of color and life to it. Her uniform is friggin' fantastic. I love how not only do we have all this detail, and the colors perfect, and a little bit of purple texture to the lower half, again matching with the color, but there's different texture in the uniform itself. So her kind of, I don't know what you'd call this, like upper crop top? It's very odd, but the female officers of Zootopia have this like feminine top, and where the guys wear the ties. I don't know, but it's a leather texture. If you know anything about policing, is there a reason why is this supposed to be a bulletproof vest? If so, it's not protecting the belly, so I don't understand. But I like it design-wise. It's a good uniform, so I approve. But anyways, it's got this leather vinyl texture to it, whereas the lower texture, if you can see, it's almost like checkerboard mesh, which is very uniform-like. I feel like with all the different conditions that Judy operates in, Tundra Town and the Sahara Desert, she would wear a mesh uniform like this with the leather top, and then the pants have a bit more of like this thick pleather texture. And then the knee pads even, they're elevated and they've got this embroidered feel to them. So lots of different texture throughout this plush. Detail on both sides. She got a cute tail. Just a wonderful Judy Hopps. Nick Wilde is the same way. Wow, this is such a good plush. Look at the head sculpt and the smirk. The colors are amazing. The way they got the cheeks are fluffier than the rest of the head. They've got a different texture. So from far away, those cheeks really pop and kind of fray out like a fox would. You see with the other figures, the Funko one and the Park Pals, they kind of just gave him this big bell-shaped head to try and tell you how the fur frays out. You know, it's fine and gets the job done, but I think this does a really wonderful job without it making it look like he's got two big triangles on the side of his head. The Hawaiian shirt, fully detailed, and the tie is a separate piece, not printed on. I think later Nick plush would cheap out and print the tie on, which is unfortunate. But this one, separate piece, beautifully detailed. Even his legs are digitigrade. If you're a furry, you know, digitigrade legs. Very important that the animals have legs that correspond with animal curvature. Big tail, big paws, with paw pads detailed like home run. Looks like a fursuit. Like, really, really great shaping of the plush. Some plush just don't work when you try and shape them around a smooth form. One example I can think of that I'll cut to is Captain Amelia from Treasure Planet. Remember her? The awesome, sexy cat captain? Yeah, she's awesome. Well, anyways, Disney Store made a plush of her. And goddammit, they tried their best. They did their classic Disney Store flair. The colors, exact. The head sculpt I thought was quite nice. But they really tried hard to give her that feminine curvature, and it just doesn't work. She looks a bit like a robot. There's just too many bumps. Whereas Nick and Judy here, they perfectly got their unique silhouettes down. Judy with kind of like the goofy big bunny figure with the exaggerated hips and paws. Nick's got that hunch, but he's still got like kind of a curve shape that goes down with the paws sticking out. Like, if you know character design and animation, you know, they did a good job with these. They did such a good job. One funny and curious thing is that Nick Wilde is fully detailed underneath his clothes. He can be stripped nude. Now, why would they do this, other than for weirdos on the internet? Well, I actually have a theory on why that is. I don't think they were just trying to pander to the lucrative furry market. I think the reason this Nick plush can strip is because there's a deleted scene in Zootopia. If you remember, they go to the Naturalist Club, which is a nude club in Zootopia. Judy's horrified that there's all these nude animals. Well, up until the film's release, Nick Wilde actually stripped nude in front of Judy in an attempt to make her uncomfortable and sort of let him go scot-free. This even made it into the storybook and I think the novel, so it was pretty close to being done. There are even completed renders you can view online of a nude Nick Wilde, so hey, if you were looking for the Nick Wilde OnlyFans, it was almost in the movie. It was almost there up until the last minute. Someone said, nope, Nick Wilde cannot have his shirt off. He's got to keep that belly covered. So, yeah, now you know why the Nick Wilde plush can be stripped. And for some reason, a lot of people must have done this, because I see these Nicks listed online without the shirt. And I'm like, who took it off? And why? I have so many questions. Do I want the answers? So, that's the best Nick and Judy, definitively, is these plush. Now, I would love to see nicer Nick and Judy. I think, you know, when it comes to plush, these are top of the top. But there's still more you could do. Nick in his cop outfit deserves a really nice plush. Again, I think foreign markets got that. They did make Judy in her formal outfit. The only reason I didn't talk about that one is I extensively talked about it in other videos. My bunny video, I think I went on record saying it was my favorite plush ever. Which is true. It is my favorite plush ever. But when it comes to sets of Nick and Judy, these are beautiful. Chef's kiss. Nick's kiss. Another coffee sip. This deserves a celebratory sip in honor of these plush. So what would be a more definitive Nick and Judy? Well, I'm probably going to have to buy those Bondi figures. Those are probably the definitive Nick and Judy figures, let's be honest. But I would also love to see fashion dolls. Like nice 12-inch, maybe even 18-inch collector dolls of Nick and Judy. With full, detailed uniforms and hard plastic heads. Maybe give them some soft texturing on the head. I don't know how you do that. Or just give them a good, fully head sculpt. I didn't mention how I like how this Nick Hawkpow sculpt has fur sculpted on it, so he looks furry. Give me a Nick doll that looks like this with a plastic head like this, and a Judy. Then you've got your definitive Nick and Judy. But until then, I'll buy everything Nick and Judy that releases that is easily available, because what can I say? I am a sucker for anything Nick and Judy. I love those two. I think they've got so much chemistry, and I just think it's fun to collect all the different iterations and put them together and see how they're different. So, those were the 5 Zootopia things I thought you might like, or should I say Nick and Judy things. We've got the Disney Infinity Nick and Judy figure set, the Funko Nick and Judy blind box set, the brand new Disneyland Park Pals Nick and Judy that you are meant to wear as accessories, the very fashionable Nick Wilde handbag, it's called Fashion, look it up, and the perfection that is the original 2016 release Disney Store Nick and Judy plush. So I buy lots of Zootopia, and I will be in line to buy more Zootopia. Yay capitalism.
Hey, smashing! Yay capitalism!